Hello, Michael here. Looking today again at Psalm 73 for our devotion. This psalm, which may be subtitled, God is my strength and portion forever. And we're focusing on verse 21 to 23 for the exposition. Let's go ahead and read those three verses. Verse 21. Thus my heart was grieved, and I was pricked in my reins. Verse 22. So foolish was I and ignorant, I was as a beast before thee. In verse 23. Nevertheless, I am continually with thee. Thou hast holden me by my right hand. And as we get to the exposition from the Treasury of David as written by Charles Spurgeon, let's go ahead and read verse 21 again. Thus my heart was grieved, and I was pricked in my reins. And we turn to the Treasury. The holy poet here reviews his inward struggle and awards himself censure for his folly. The pain had been intense, he says. Thus my heart was grieved. It was a deep-seated sorrow, and one which penetrated his inmost being. Alexander reads it, my heart is soured. His spirit had become embittered. He had judged in a harsh, crabbed, surly manner. He had become atrabilious, full of black bile, melancholy, and choleric. He had poisoned his own life at the fountainhead, and made all its streams to be bitter as gall. And I was pricked in my reins. He was as full of pain as a man afflicted with renal disease. He had pierced himself through with many sorrows. His hard thoughts were like so many calculi in his kidneys. He was utterly wretched and woe begone, and all through his own reflections. O miserable philosophy, which stretches the mind on the rack and breaks it on the wheel. O blessed faith, which drives away the inquisitors and sets the captives free. O blessed faith, which drives away the inquisitors and sets the captives free. And verse 22. So foolish was I and ignorant, I was as a beast before thee. So foolish was I. He thought a saint of God had acted as if he had been one of the fools whom God abhorreth. Had he not even envied them? And what is that but to aspire to be like them? The wisest of men have enough folly in them to ruin them unless grace prevents. And ignorant, he had acted as if he knew nothing, had babbled like an idiot, had uttered the very drivel of witless loon. He did not know how sufficiently to express his sense of his own fatuity. He did not know how sufficiently to express his sense of his own fatuity. I was as a beast before thee. Even in God's presence he had been brutish, and worse than a beast before thee. As the grass-eating ox has but his present life, and can only estimate things thereby, and by the sensual pleasure which they afford, even so had the psalmist judged happiness by his mortal life, by outward appearances, and by fleshly enjoyments. Thus he had, for the time, renounced the dignity of an immortal spirit, and like a mere animal judged after the sight of the eyes. We should be very loath to call an inspired man a beast, and yet penitence made him call himself so. Nay, he uses the plural by way of emphasis, and as if he were worse than any one beast. It was but an evidence of his true wisdom that he was so deeply conscious of his own folly. We see how bitterly good men bewail mental wanderings. They make no excuse for themselves, but set their sins in the pillory and cast the vilest reproaches upon them. Oh, for grace to detest the very appearance of evil. In verse 23, that reads, Nevertheless, I am continually with you. You hold my right hand. Nevertheless, I am continually with thee. He does not give up his faith, though he confesses his folly. Sin may distress us, and yet we may be in communion with God. It is sin beloved and delighted in, which separates us from the Lord. But when we bewail it heartily, the Lord will not withdraw from us. What a contrast is here in this and the former verse. He is as a beast, and yet continually with God. Our double nature, as it always causes conflict, so is it a continuous paradox. The flesh allies us with the brutes, and the spirit affiliates us to God. Thou hast holden me by my right hand. With love dost thou embrace me, with honor ennoble me, with power uphold me. He had almost fallen, and yet was always upheld. He was a riddle to himself, as he had been a wonder unto many. This verse contains the two precious mercies of communion and upholding, and as they were both given to one who confessed himself a fool, we also may hope to enjoy them. Yes, indeed. How many times we see ourselves as in a mirror, not very wise. How we survived our ignorance and foolishness in the growing years. God must surely laugh, even as he loves, and even as his mercies are extended always to us. Trust you enjoyed the meditation. Michael here declaring yet again, Jesus is